pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Tina, could you do a roll call, please?
Katie Creepy. Here. Jenna Ham,
Here.
Tammy Oland,
Here.
Laura Shreve.
Here.
Kristen Randall,
Here.
Lauren Bruns,
Here.
and Dawn Adams.
We have a full board. Thank you. Kristen, could you take the adoption of the agenda?
Yeah, I move to adopt the agenda and the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda and consent agenda. Is there any objection to adopting the agenda? Okay, since there's no objection, the agenda and the consent agenda have been adopted. So item 4, reading and reading. So during the summer, the school board considered their sort of item agenda flow, and over half of us wanted to keep the reading and reading as part of the meeting. Apologies to those of you who had some other concerns. I do feel like the polite greeting of fellow members has value in setting the tone for our meeting exchanges, and I appreciate it for that reason. But I also recognize that a general desire for a more efficient meeting. So in light of that, I kindly ask members to succinctly share their reflections on the greeting each month, or the reading each month. And then if you have further reflections or more, if you're going deeper, maybe save that for the board comments at the end. Sometimes we do reflect back on that. So I chose a short one this month, which may not benefit us in the length of time that we take. But, good evening, board.
Good evening, Dawn.
I will go ahead and read the reading twice. Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Albert Einstein. Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. For me, I'm definitely the A to B. I'm the logic. I'm the what makes sense, what's rational, square. So it's good to be reminded that if I use my imagination, I might end up at C or D or something even more magnificent than B. Kristen.
Okay. Good evening, board.
Good evening.
I'm a little bit like Dawn, and I feel like I've been doing a lot of logic thinking lately as I'm moving through school still. And I was reminded last night as I was taking this test about global economics that I hate. I love. But I think in the big scheme of things, logic and imagination go hand in hand, and I saw that in my class, and it just seems like I think both those things just work together when you want them to, and they can. All right.
Good evening, board.
Good evening, Lauren.
So good to be here. I'm thinking of this with the start of the school year, having seen in other school systems in other countries, logic forward, logic heavy, maybe sometimes in the US as well, certain classrooms and stuff. But what else can we give our kids and our students, like, to make life more meaningful and more exciting for our future? And because we're gonna need some imagination to get us out of some predicaments, I'm sure. So I like this quote to start the season. Katie.
Good evening, board. I think that this is a really good one to start off the year with, because my perspective on it is that oftentimes we tell students, this is how you get to this place. If you want to go to college, you go here. If you want to go to tech school, you go here, very much like lined it out. But in this day and age, and with the way that the future is very kind of up in the air right now, I think that it's important to register that there's a lot of options. And if you can imagine it at this point, you can attempt it. It may not work out, but you can attempt it. And there's probably some kind of tool to help you. And so, and that's something that I really appreciate reflecting on as we go into this new school year. And so, Jenna.
Good evening, board.
Jenna.
This made me, I agree with others that have said that it takes both logic and imagination are important. The quote made me think of something our personnel manager out here at Camp Denali has put on a piece of cardboard and I think put in the staff room just recently. I haven't seen it yet, but it's to rank yourself on 2 axes from mother to baby, serf to tyrant. I won't go into it, but it has to do with, being one who cares for others and one who needs to be cared for, or being a leader or a follower. Anyway, it's the second time just today that these extreme tendencies or views have been come to my attention, but balance is important. I guess that's where I'll end up. Tammy.
Sorry, I had to find the audio. So,
Good
I'm pretty much on the logic spectrum too, but I feel like the imagination piece is really important for the creativity side and really it challenges us to kind of be outside of that set protocol, so to speak. If we're going A, B, C, D, then maybe we need to mix it up some more and say, okay, let's be creative and try something else. So. Katie?
Forrest.
Or Forrest?
Good evening, board.
Good evening, Forrest.
All right, so my A to B brain was like, what? Don't even try to say that imagination is better than my logic. But then I thought about it for like 3 minutes and I was like, wait a minute. My imagination is what made me quit my job. I'm literally going to go everywhere around the United States because of my imagination, not because of following the A to B path that most people do. So I'm unoffended now. Just kidding. But seriously, it was a little bit hard at the beginning for me to be like, you got to have the A to B to have a direction, and then the imagination can take you places from there. If you're totally wandering and have no direction, I think that can be a bad thing. But I really like what everybody said, and I agree that having both is important. But apparently, I'm more on the imagination than I thought. Dina?
I really like this one because I think it takes logic to reach imagination and vice versa. I think it takes imagination to reach logic. And you have to have a little bit of both if you want to think bigger, do bigger. You have to have both because one isn't always enough. So, I think that's a good evening.
Good evening, board.
Good evening, Bill.
Having spent 2 days on Denali Learning and all the expeditions, I saw a little bit of both. I saw a lot of logic tied with a great deal of imagination, so that I think this quote fits very well. It also reminds me of an educational quote that said, if you throw a baseball in space, physics will teach you where you threw it and where it goes. But calculus will tell you every spot along the way. And I think I think if you swap physics and logic and imagination and calculus, it's still fit that process.
Nice. Oh, well, thank you all for humoring me. And at the end of the meeting, I will ask who would like to select the quote for September. So we don't have a Tri-Valley student presentation for obvious reasons. School starts next Wednesday. Is the mayor going to join us? Probably not.
No, but he did submit a written report.
Okay, and then we had some school reports, moving on to administration reports, and maintenance report. Everyone got a chance to breeze through those. Great work this summer. Amazing. Got all that done. And then all of our May committee reports were brought to the May meeting, so none of those were available. So that brings us to our business manager report. Jeremy.
Well, good evening, board. How is everyone?
Good.
Well, I have a few reports to show. I was a little hesitant to get this one out. This is the snapshot for the year end. Let me make sure everyone can see my screen. And yeah, you guys are good?
I think so.
Okay. You guys should also have them in your packet as well. We are still reconciling a lot with this budget, but we do feel like we've got a good a handle on all of the expenses that have come through. We're not expecting any others. We've gotten our grants reconciled. We're working on the on behalf payments right now, which is a big chunk of that. But overall, we're seeing for the most part a majority of these lines coming in slightly under budget. Again, when the on behalf gets booked through and we reconcile accounts payable, we'll see these kind of true up, and we won't really know the full scope until we get through the audit. But a few points that we'll see as well later as we look at the July is our correspondence line did show over about $134,000, which is directly tied to the student allotments. We typically historically have been tracking about 70% usage, and it turned out to be about 75%. So that's what that difference is. And then we're also seeing an overage in operations and maintenance, which tracing that back is largely due, which we kind of have known about for the last half of the year anyway, is higher utility costs, especially through that winter. So more to come on that when we get through our audit. A quick just recap of the grants. We were able to spend just about everything down with the exception of early learning, although we were able to support the preschool there in Tri-Valley with a few extra things kind of towards the end there to use up as much as we could there. But all of the grants have been filed through. We've received payments back in July for all except one, and we're just waiting for deed. They have processed the payment, but as soon as it gets to us, we'll be able to enter that final expenditure report and close out the grants for the year. And just a quick balance snapshot, finishing all total 6.684 million in the bank. And then you can see the various fund balances. And if we then move to July, I'm kind of trying to lay these out a little bit differently this year in hopes of providing number one, kind of forecasted items, kind of known things or things for your discussion, just so that we can be seeing them each month in anticipation of a budget revision, which we'll have in November. So right now, I just wanted to point out that if we were to increase our correspondence allotment provision from 70% to 75%, that would be a net effect of about $126,000. Other than that, revenues have come in as expected, interest in the bank. The grant revenue will get pushed over. These are actually revenues from last year, but once we reconcile the balance sheets, we'll be able to clean that up. The rest of the expenses do look to be in line. One other kind of change I've done over here is just kind of put kind of utilization, how far along this spectrum are we for this budgeted items? And it's good because you'll see some things stick out. District Admin Support Services has already spent 35% of that budget in 1 month. But that's largely just due to contract services. You know, we have tried to get as much as we can onto a true fiscal year cycle so that our Skyward maintenance annual contracts, things like that will, you know, all hit in July. And so we do tend to see this front loaded in the front parts of the month. And then the way that we run payroll for specifically the certified staff always kind of has this little lag in July. And that's why we don't see any expenses here in guidance services, health services, for example, and admin support. So things look to be, you know, moving along. We've closing out the old year, moving in the new one. As I mentioned, the correspondence and grants. We were awarded another year on the early learning preschool grant. So that is something that we did not anticipate, was not budgeted for, but we're gonna show that in here. We have not yet been able to get into drafting, or I guess confirming a budget for that one, but we'll be working on that here in these coming weeks. So with that, we're looking at just over $600,000 in grant awards. And as far as a breakdown of the balances, you can see them there. Our key bank AMLIP investment continues to grow. And so we've got just about $6.126 million in the bank. And if we look over to the fund descriptions, this student allotment reserved is now just the all of the allotments, currently 70% that we've got budgeted for that are in here. And then this carryover number will get trued up with the audit, but that is what we're submitting to them at this point. And that is what I have for you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And I guess I appreciate the new format.
I really do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well, I'll keep refining it, but I'll keep moving in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Mr. Gurley, welcome back.
Well, welcome back, everybody. For my portion now, I'd like to give everyone an update on Travel Edge progress toward fulfilling our leadership priorities. We did update these at the end of the year with Dan before he rode off into the sunset. And but before I get into that though, I found out something today that I just want to take time to acknowledge. Taylor Eddington was chosen as the Gatorade Player of the Year for girls track and field for the entire state of Alaska. That happened over the summer. It's the nature of the calendar. I don't often hear about things that happen with track season. You know, they don't always get the recognition that they deserve. So it's really awesome to see her get this award. I took this language directly from the website because I didn't know about this award until I was asked to fill out some paperwork for her to be a contender for it. And I never did hear that she actually got it. So I was really pleased to hear she got it. But the website says the Gatorade State Player of the Year Award was established in 1985 to recognize the nation's most elite high school student athletes for their athletic excellence, academic achievement, and exemplary character. And then I was able to find a press release online today. And I would like to just read the entirety because I think it's awesome. This is from Chicago, June 25th, 2026. Tri-Valley High School student athlete named Gatorade Alaska Girls Track and Field Player of the Year. In its 41st year celebrating the nation's best high school athletes, Gatorade to date announced Taylor Eddington, Tri-Valley High School, is the 2025-26 Gatorade Alaska Girls Track and Field Player of the Year. Gatorade Player of the Year is the top honor in high school sports, celebrating the nation's best high school athletes for their excellence in sport, academics, and community. The award recognizes Eddington as Alaska's best high school girls track and field athlete, and she enjoys an elite legacy that spans professional athletes and coaches to CEOs such as Sonia Richards. And they give some different people who I need to Google, but I assume that they are also elite athletes that went on to do awesome things. The 5'5" senior sprinter and hurdler set a state record in the 300 hurdles with a time of 43.31 seconds in the preliminary round of the Division II state meet this past season. Eddington went on to win the 300 hurdles, 100 hurdles, and both the 100 and 200 meter dash events at the meet, leading the Warriors to a fourth place finish as a team. She also owns the state's fastest mark in 100 hurdles, breaking the tape with a time of 15.03 seconds at the 2026 Brian Young Invitational. Eddington has volunteered locally as part of a food drive organized through a community food bank, which prepares and distributes food to remote parts of Alaska. Eddington is the clear-cut favorite for the girls, and I don't even think it's close, said Phil Leck, head coach of Soldotna High School. She set the state record in the 300 hurdles. Her times were better than her Division I competitors, and she won all 4 of her state events. Eddington has maintained a 3.89 weighted GPA in the classroom. She has signed a written letter of athletic aid to compete on scholarship in both track and ice hockey at St. Catherine University, Minnesota this fall. The Gatorade Player of the Year program annually recognizes one state winner from each of the 50 states and Washington, D.C. in 12 different sports: football, girls volleyball, boys and girls cross country, boys and girls basketball, baseball, softball, boys and girls soccer, and boys and girls track and field. In total, 610 high school athletes are honored each year. From the pool of state winners, one national winner is selected in each of the 12 sports. The selection process is administered by the Gatorade Player of the Year Selection Committee, which leverages experts including coaches, scouts, media, and other sources to help evaluate and determine the winners in each sport. As part of Gatorade's commitment to breaking down barriers in sport, every Player of the Year also receives a grant to donate to a social impact partner. To date, the Gatorade Player of the Year program has provided more than $6.4 million in grants to winners across more than 2,200 organizations. And they go on to give some information to learn more about the program. Well deserved. So I just want to congratulate Taylor, and it's what an incredible thing to do on her way out the door. So she makes us very proud. With our priorities, we know one of them we've been working on is community engagement and partnership. We've defined that a little bit more this last year, kind of fleshed it out. It was just community engagement. We've added partnership. And really this year, we're going to be looking to try and increase our community engagement. Our open house was really successful last year, so we're doing it again this year. It's next week on Thursday, actually, 4 to 6:30. We've already got several different groups and local entities going to come and be represented as well. So kind of a one-stop shop for parents to kind of see what's going on in the community. I know we've got Alaska Bounty for Children is going to be there, Kids in Motion, the community library, Relevant Mental Health. We've also asked if the borough has anything they'd like to send. I know last year we had Stephanie here with the walking trail project to get public feedback. So just like, hey, well, we've got everybody here. Let's get everybody on board. And we also we ordered a bunch of popcorn. So I do think there were some parents last year that was like, why'd you get my kid ice cream at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Because it's once a year. Stephen Calkin, I did send him pictures of his son Emmett, and I said, this is his second scoop. And later Stephen was like, I'll get you back. Additionally, we're going to have our 5th annual senior cookout this weekend at Otto Lake. That's on Saturday. It's open to all local seniors and their families, regardless of where they're enrolled. It's something that I started when I first came here, and hearing people originally like, well, can so-and-so come even though they're homeschooled or this one, that. These students have all grown up together. It's a small town. Everybody, no matter who you're enrolled with, come on. Let's celebrate their hard work. And also too, it's just kind of we don't really talk a lot of shop at these. Some of you guys have been to these. It's really just kind of take a breath of fresh air, watch the kids struggle to light a charcoal fire, and so you can burn a hot dog and still make it edible. And we did have a hot dog eating contest a few years ago. Micaiah can eat some hot dogs, I will say. But it's always a good time, and we've even experimented with roasted Twinkies when the store did not have enough stuff for s'mores. If you've never had a roasted Twinkie, it's interesting. I'll say that wasn't terrible. Also, we're going to try to do a better job of utilizing and using our local experts more in our classrooms this year. And that's something I'm going to talk a little bit more about when I get to the instruction side of things. Also, I want to continue to increase opportunities for parents to be involved at the classroom level. We've got a lot of involvement, helping in the kitchen with Booster Club or activities. And so like, how can we though translate and leverage that to get people in to see more of what's happening in the classroom? And so that's going to be one of my big things this year. And also seeing how we can get even more folks, even from the wider community, not just families, but coming to things like celebrations of learning to really kind of see like the awesome things that are happening here. Concerning attendance, we're going to continue to positively message that attendance is important and work with families when and where we can to lessen the negative impact on students due to missing school days. And I say lessen the negative impact. We know we can never truly get rid of the negative impact. But we also understand that life happens, the place where we live. If you've got to go to the dentist, heaven forbid you have braces, you're going once a month up there, and we know the burden that is on families. And so we've got things in place, different protocols and processes that have worked well. This last year, we're going to continue to work through those things like through our droplet system to allow parents to give early notification digitally to teachers, give them a heads up as soon as they know. And that's worked well to help us kind of take the sting out of being gone. We miss you when you're not here, but it's not a punishment because you missed. We want to welcome you back and make sure you get back up to speed as soon as possible. And then also continuing to work, identify and work with specific students and families that really do have that chronic absenteeism and see what we can do to help support that as well in a non-judgmental way. We have to work with families. And concerning positive school climate and culture, we continue to see evidence of a strong school culture here at Tri-Valley, specifically the school climate connectedness data. That's the survey we do I've always get questions. Why do we do this in February when it's dark and cold outside to ask people if they're happy or not? It's the same reason why we used to do 2-a-days in football in August in Arkansas. And even though we're playing at 60 degrees in October on a Friday night, because if you can do it at noon in August, you can do it when the weather's good. But it does give us good data regardless of what time of the year it is. And the data shows some encouraging gains, especially if you zoom out over a period of years. I kind of look back to, this is my 5th year here. And so I look back to even those beginning years and where we are now. And I do definitely feel a lot of joy seeing those numbers move up. If you're not familiar with the format that the data is presented, a high number is good, even if it's a negative question, because they are giving you the percentage of positive responses. So you may see a question and it may feel negative. Oh, that's 90%. 90% responded that's not an issue. So it looks positive. So high is good on those. Also, our first day of school, we're going to have our traditional beginning of the year assembly in the gym. It's always a good time to set the year up for success in a positive way, get everybody together. The kindergartners learn about voice levels because all the other kids know, but we go through our universal attention signal. And if you've ever seen me with a big crowd, if you've been at a Thanksgiving feast we have here, I know Forrest has been, Tina, you've been over here, 5, 4, we practice that, and everybody, it works. And for new students, they kind of realize I'm the only one talking. I should be quiet. And we go through our voice level stuff and just kind of set the expectation and tone for how we're going to do our communal gatherings. And, also too, we have a good time. And it's actually the kindergarten teacher's birthday on the first day of school. I happen to know that because I know we're outside of work. And I do know Mudge is planning something. So we will see. I'm sure she can't wait. Also, I want to specifically try and find ways to increase student voice this year. It's something that's always kind of been like a lingering question, especially with the middle school, high school. This last year, I did intentionally, I put it on the calendar. One Monday a month, I was in the student government meetings. And I did feel like that did give me a good touch point with student government specifically, but we also know that student government doesn't represent, it's not everybody, it is definitely an aspect of the school, but trying to figure out ways for student voice, and for me to be able to be more responsive to that. We've got a great opportunity for student voice because we're hosting OSOG this year. And so there'll be lots of student voices here from all around the state. And I expect that energy to kind of carry over through the year. It's going to be a great thing. We're excited to host it. And they've been working on it all summer long. So I'm really excited. We also have a lot of advantages, considering that the person at the state level that's over that is a local. That's actually Cass Marash. And so we kind of have a ringer there. And we've got a group of strong parents that are helping push that forward. And OSOG is one of those things. It does have a special place in my heart. I don't know if all of you guys have heard the story. Some of you may have. When I was out in Togiak before I came here, I was at one of my things that I did as assistant principal was I was the student government advisor, and we brought students to OSOG in 2018. It was the first time in over a decade students had left that community for something besides a sports trip that with the school. We came here when they hosted OSOG here. And I happened to have our current kindergarten teacher with me as the female chaperone because convenience. And we walked into this school and we just felt we just felt the energy. And we commented the whole weekend about like, this place just feels different. And that was while we were in a school that was struggling with culture, with climate, with a lot of challenges. And our students that we brought also felt that. And the advocacy that they saw from students from around the state standing up for their communities, for their schools, they took that back to the school we were at. And they became true student leaders in the school there. And it helped us really shift a lot of things in a positive direction in that school. And I attribute that to seeds that were planted here when they saw students from this school and other schools standing up and debating issues. And they weren't just hiding in the back letting the adults figure it out. So OSOG's got a special place in my heart. And so it is kind of coming full circle now to be here as the principal when it was hosted. Before it was Mr. Pitt. And so it's gonna be a good time. Also for our last piece here, high quality instruction. Our teachers just spent the last 2 days really leaning into planning learning expeditions. And there was a special focus specifically on using field work and local experts in more meaningful ways. And I mentioned earlier with community involvement and engagement, that's going to be two birds with one stone right there. We have so many experts with just a vast amount of experience in all these vast fields in this community. And so trying to get a lot more juice for the squeeze with all the work we do, bringing in those local experts. And then when we do bring them in, making sure we're getting the most out of that experience for students and making sure we really thought through the right person and the right type of expert. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these expeditions this year. I feel like every year they get better and better. I feel like every year Celebrations of Learning gets better and better. And I know that's a hard place to be because it's kind of, at some point, it's hard to get better. But anyway, at this point, I'm happy to take any questions or comments you guys may have for me.
No questions? So last year, some of us were from the school board represented at the open house
Mm-hmm.
without popcorn or cake. But I will be out of town. Is anyone interested in sitting at the table? I'll be out of town as well. Okay, Tammy, are you gonna be back? Okay. All right, so it sounds like Tammy might be willing to come represent.
This Thursday? This coming Thursday or tomorrow? Not tomorrow. A week
Today, next Thursday. Yeah.
next Thursday. Okay, yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, great. I'll have Sarah reach out to you with some more information.
Okay, great.
From 4 to 6:30.
And if you can't make the whole thing, or
Yeah.
got the half an hour or so.
Real quick, the Saturday event, for the seniors,
Yeah.
refresh me on the day, pretty please.
Sure. Yeah. So all we do, it's this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, I think we've got it set for 6:30. Typically, it gets done around 7:30 or so, 8:30, and yeah, kind of a come and go type thing.
Perfect.
And if you guys know any local seniors that might be lurking somewhere, we beat the bushes pretty good. We think we've got them all. But I'm sometimes surprised at, like, I didn't even know this kid existed. Where have you been? But yeah, so if you guys know of any other local seniors, and I was surprised to hear a couple of them that I knew of kind of that are outside of the school were seniors. And I'm like, I didn't know Ani was a senior. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel old. So yeah, but it's a great time. It really is. And I do need to be careful though, because in past years, they have taken this time of being all together in a low structure environment to plan the senior pranks. So and it's going to be really hard to top that hamster business next year. I've already told them no live animals, period, this year.
I'll tell them you just challenged him.
No, please don't. Please do not.
It's gonna be hard to top it. I mean,
That hamster was, I gotta give it to him. That I was speechless. I was absolutely speechless. Well done,
Theodore?
Theodore. Turns out Theodore was a girl.
Oh.
Yeah. They renamed Theodore to Kara. Yeah.
Well, one other question about the ASG.
Yeah.
That's the Friday, it's like a Friday, Saturday. And is that the very last weekend of September?
Let me grab my laptop. I've got the date.
I was wondering if, and Caitlin Weitzel is the Tri-Valley
Yes, ma'am.
contact, if she was still looking for volunteers, I just thought I'd let the board know if that's something you might want to be part of, Caitlin.
25th through the 27th.
So it is the 25th to the 27th, and we were able to work with OSOG. I was really glad they were willing to work with us, to where they're actually beginning that event after our early release, so we actually don't lose that school day, which was a really important thing for me from a admin standpoint, that early in the year to lose a school day. So I'm really glad able to work around that. So they're going to be here a jam-packed weekend for sure. Lots of fun. But yeah, it's the 25th to the 27th.
Thanks. That's all I have. Does anyone else have questions or thoughts from Principal Gurley?
Was there a time on that, on OSOG when it starts and all of that?
There is a time it starts. I don't know specifically. I know it's gonna be after 2 o'clock for when the main event starts off, because that's gonna give us time to get all of our students out of here. And then I believe it's gonna go until into Sunday afternoon, I think. So kids are gonna miss, kids that are traveling are gonna be missing Monday, especially if they're far away. I think about the kiddos who live plane rides away or ferry rides away. But I know our students, they're missed for those two when they're,
Yeah.
you know, they'll be missing when they go to Metlakatla in the spring. They'll probably be missing a chunk of time too. So, but it is well worth it. I hope we have a really good turnout though.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a great year.
Yes, thank you.
Are you ready, Superintendent Bird?
I am as ready as I'm going to be. Good evening. As I briefly mentioned during the quote, I have spent, turn my video on. I did spend the last 2 days listening to Denali Learning and getting very excited about what is happening in our classrooms, including our small sites, and seeing smiles on faces of staff is wonderful. After the summer, that doesn't always happen in my experience, because you see, oh, well, school's starting and it was a great summer. And we did get a lot of feedback that people did wonderful things, and I'm looking forward to their experiences as well. I do want to thank everybody who helped my transition, finding housing, especially Tina, who did a yeoman's job of having to put up with me, as well as some of the board members who also were looking for all kinds of things to make my transition helpful. So I wanna thank everybody. I've been doing my best to drink from the fire hose on each department and meeting with them and finding out, well, this is what we have done. And then there's a pause. I'm like, well, we're not going to change everything that right away. Thank you for filling me in on what I don't know. Dealing with finances, August 30th is coming up, and that will be the decision on the one-time funding. The legislative brain is frozen there. The legislature last year passed one-time funding to the BSA. However, they wanted to wait and make sure that oil prices were high enough. The department will give us that information at the end of this month. I am mostly confident that that will happen, and that comes to the tune of another $630,000, which is great. The auditors will be coming here in another month to review the finances. Facilities have done wonderful things, and I got to see the field torn up, the field being leveled, grass growing on the field, as well as the electrical adjustment. The generator also was there, and they're going to close that out soon. December 30th or 31st, we will find out if a third project will be funded, depending on oil prices. If it stays the same as they are right now, that would be funded, and that would be a generator project at Anderson and Cantwell for next summer. So we're hoping, we did get official word from the state that if the prices are there, they will fund it. So they will advance the three. That has been guaranteed. I won't read all the legislative bills. Many of the bills passed without a governor's signature, but he didn't veto them. One that directly affects us that I did want to point out from the education side is the civics education bill. I will, and the last line is very important. The requirements will go in place for students starting 9th grade next July 1st. So it won't affect anybody who is in high school, even as freshmen this year. It will follow that. I'm sure you're aware school board terms were also one of those legislative items, as well as the assembly. The municipalities can determine how long school board terms will last.
You mean multiple terms, like a.
Instead of a 3-year term, it could be a 5-year term or
Oh.
a 7-year term. The length of the term of a board member, it could be shortened. That already happens. You could have a 1-year term, but this will expand it beyond 3. And the law or the statute said that it couldn't be. So this affects assembly and the school board. And the last item, the school nutrition, those of us who have been old enough remember the no red dye number 3 and other things from our childhood that has returned. And you can't use these dyes in the school nutrition during the school day. They're okay after the school day, but not during it, just so that you know. The new staff, and I misspelled our incoming pre-K. They are looking at mid-September, being here, crossing our fingers, and that will that's also our special ed teacher for Tri-Valley. Also will be in that time. We lost a few people. We have a possibility in Henderson. We interviewed today. So we're still working on that, but there is a possibility we do have a sub in place until the middle of September, but it's a hard stop in that particular case. But when school starts, we will have somebody in the classroom in Anderson. I wanted to keep it short, so
Great.
Thanks. It was interesting to have a summary of those that passed. Having a practice.
Yeah.
Any questions? Superintendent Brewer? None at this point. Oh, good. Sliding through, mister. Okay, we'll move on to old business. Katie, could you take this?
Yeah. I move to accept the second and final reading of the presented policies and place in the and place them in the policy manual. There you go. BP 4119.11, BP 4119.12, BP 4119.21, BP 4119.22, BP 4119.23, BP 4119.25, BP 4119.3, BP 4119.41, BP 4119.42, BP 4119.43, BP 4122, BP 4123, BP 4131, BP 4132, BP 4133, BP 4135, BP 4136, BP 4137, BP 4141, BP 4141.6, BP 4143, BP 4144, BP 4151, BP 4152, BP 4153, BP 4154, BP 4154.1, BP 4157, BP 4158, BP 4159, BP 4161, BP 4161.1, BP 4161.2, BP 4161.3, BP 4161.4, BP 4161.6, BP 4161.7, BP 4162, BP 4163, BP 4170.
Second.
Second.
No seconds.
Second.
It's gonna drop.
The set of board policies for a second reading. I went back to the May policy committee report, and there are some that have about a dozen that had some updated changes based on the AASB recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
One that was fully new. Did anyone have questions for our policy forms? Okay. Tina, could you do a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Katie Creedy,
Yes.
Jenna Ham,
Yes.
Lauren Bruns,
Yes.
Tammy Oland,
Yes.
Kristen Randall,
Yes.
Forrest Shreve,
Yes.
and Dawn Adam.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Set of board policies. It's great start to the year. Put into the. And I think most of you may recall it. I think Dan had updated the ARs and the exhibits before he departed. Okay, moving on to new business. New business item 11A. Lauren, could you take this?
I move to offer a contract to a certified non-tenured teacher, Dominique, can I get help with the lesson?
Dominic Nayaba.
Nayaba for the 2026 to 27 school year.
Second.
Right, moved and seconded to offer a contract to, that's great. Do you want to follow up with any specifics?
Dominic is coming in from Ghana. He sent a couple of videos before our interview and all of us who were sitting there said he's really excited and very joyful about education. And that was one of the telling factors. He's been in great communication with us, especially with Tina, of let's try and get there as soon as possible. He does have a family, but he's going to come by himself originally. And then work from there. So he's asked questions, and we're gonna make him excited to be in UA.
Any questions? I think we're ready to vote. Yep.
Jenna Ham,
Yes.
Lauren Bruns,
Yes.
Tammy Oland,
Yes.
Kristen Randall,
Yes.
Forrest Shreve,
Yes.
Katie Greedy,
Yes.
and Dawn Adams.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. And then the next two items, I'm gonna let Superintendent Burr highlight for us as these are awareness, these are under the 75,000 threshold for the school board to approve, but these are new relationships.
We have Katie Stone, who has come back temporarily under an LLC that she's created that is going to fill in and work with the preschool teacher when he arrives. So we stay in compliance with our pre-K grant. She's been on the job and meeting with families already since Friday of last week, and is really gung-ho on making sure that we get a great start to the year. The second item is the strategic planning. I know that Mr. Polta had some of those discussions, and we did have an MOA with ACSA, which is the Alaska Council of School Administrators. And we are looking at putting out some surveys to start with, creating kind of a focus group in December to get the core of the strategic planning, and then continuing the action items and the plan so that it would be ready to go or approved by fall of next year. In the meantime, we are continuing the excellent Denali Learning program, and the term Denali Learning will stay with it. So it's not an exit from that. It's let's find the things that have worked and bring new ideas into it. And you'll see that throughout the year and get updates. And this is just the initial getting them started.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna guess we don't have any public comments.
We do not.
So comments from the board and superintendent. Work through the board and then we'll give superintendent the last word. Would anyone like to start?
I'll start. I am really excited for a new school year, to see, what the kids can imagine and learn, in all their different activities and that they do. I'm really excited for the opportunity to see here at Tri Valley. I'm working with those community partners. I know we've already had a teacher already reach out to my place of work, and I think what a great opportunity for us to have those relationships and definitely draw from the expertise that is all around us in this community. And so looking forward to those opportunities, but really just looking forward to a really, really great school year. And welcome, Superintendent Burr. We're glad you're here. Lauren.
Oh, good. Yeah, I have my thoughts together.
Thoughts. Your thoughts. I just have one.
Yeah, it's great to be back together, and it's gonna be brand new school year, and excited to see how everything shapes out, and I already like the new layout. Working on with Jeremy. I struggle with this numbers and numbers. There's some colors now, so I think it's along. And I loved hearing that we did get another grant for the early learning. That was a big question, so it's great news. Tammy.
Get my audio to work here. So I'm just really glad to kind of see school starting back up. I know we all kind of go summer, 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 and then winter. And it's this transition thing, but I'm kind of excited. I'm seeing, some excitement with some of the kids that I see coming into where I work, and they're kind of doing oh yeah, you're not going back to school, but then they go and we get to play hockey and we get to do basketball and we're gonna do all these things, and so I'm starting to see some of that, enthusiasm come back and that sort of thing. Was really looking at some of the stuff that Toby was talking about, getting more experts involved and more parents involved, and I think that's a healthy thing. I think that's good. So, and then congrats to Taylor. I was reading an article in, I think, Facebook or something that was talking about her accomplishments, and that's really cool. Who would have thunk it? Little old Healy. But and then looking forward to see what OSOG does, with hosting that here, and I think that'll be fun, and have a lot of the kids from around the state here and get to see some of what they're doing and that sort of thing too. So looking forward to seeing what we can do. So Forrest.
Thank you. Echo a couple things, but congratulations, Taylor. Welcome, Bill, and thanks to Katie Stone for being willing to step in and help fill in while we're working things out. That's a big help. It'd be a lot harder to make anything work, even with anybody else stepping in short time. She's got the knowledge there, so appreciate that. Definitely good to hear about, potential more involvement with the community and community, maybe seeing more how the classroom works and things like that. That's good stuff. That's things that I've had a big interest in for a long time. I'd like to just hide in the corner and sit in a class every once in a while, just see how different teachers work, but yeah, I'm excited for the school year to come and see how things go, and reminder to the board and anybody watching, but I will not be here in person after the September meeting. Plan to be here in September, and then I'll be virtual from I have no idea where each month after that.
So exciting.
So, and thanks you two for laughing at my epiphany in my in the reading and greeting, because that's not my favorite part. But I try to engage. Go ahead, Katie.
No, thank you. I also congrats to Taylor Eddington. Her dad put this incredible Facebook post up. Like, if you ever had the chance to read it, it was just it'll make you teary-eyed. It was beautiful. So I really appreciated that. And congratulations to her dad. Big thank you to Katie Stone. I had the opportunity with her on my, as a parent the other day, and it was really nice, like being able to be like, okay, we do have a direction. This is moving forward. We're doing great. This is exciting. I'm excited to see what happens in the pre-K classroom. And again, the funding coming through for another year is awesome. That's really exciting. I also like the format the Germans had with, so just putting my 2 cents in there. It's great. I like the colors as well. I am very excited for OSOG. I really enjoy government, so so like, yeah, I'm so excited that they get a good education in that, and that it gets to be hosted here, and it's really cool. And also huge thank yous to the maintenance team at Tri Valley this year for all that they accomplished. I mean, that was a pretty big ask in a very short window, and they did an amazing job with that. So huge. And last but not least, welcome, Bill. This is a really exciting way to kick off the new school year, and I'm happy to see you here. Thank you. Let's go with Jenna, right? Yeah, Jenna.
I'd love to start it. I don't have a whole lot to say, but first off, just a real warm welcome to Bill Burr from over Zoom. Much better to do that in person, but yeah, delighted that you've joined our district, and yeah, thanks for your courage and perseverance in encountering a lot of a steep learning curve and working with new people and personalities throughout the district. But yeah, thank you for taking on this new adventure with us. I have a senior at Tri Valley School this fall, assuming he comes back from a visit with his friend in Montana. But I'm looking forward to supporting him through his final year at Tri Valley, hoping he doesn't have too much senioritis. Help supporting him through that. So looking forward to the school year. Thanks, everyone. And I hand it over to Dawn.
I'll take it. Thanks. I appreciate that everyone could make it to our first meeting. I appreciate that it was sort of a light agenda, so we could sort of get all the bugs out and give Bill a smooth meeting. The rest of his time in the last month. At this point, I'll throw a little business in here. I'll reach out about the standing committees, and we'll stick with what we have, and I'll contact you about the timing, but those will start in September. Who wants to select the September quote? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh,
My last one here.
you got it, yeah. Okay, Forrest is on.
I love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I can't wait to write that.
And it is, this is an exciting time of year when things get started. I have a student that is not going to school, and she has no idea what she's doing for the next 9 months. I mean, sort of ideas, but traveling. She's on a course schedule of A to B plus, a lot of side roads. It's awesome. I'll be fine. Thanks for being here, Bill. And I now hand the last word to you.
All right, I do know from Dan's that he had, so I thought for the first meeting, I would wear a suit and a tie and follow up with reading the mission statement as my terms. We do it together.
Well, we could do it together,
We could do-
but on that particular copy, we're
Oh.
seeing the first two.
You know, no, because during the interview, it was red, and I thought, that's not, I have, so it's.
Working together.
All right, two.
Working together to nurture, empower, and inspire today's student to positively shape tomorrow's world. And legacy.
All right, they can do that. All right,
Sorry.
working together to nurture, empower, and inspire today's student to positively shape tomorrow's world.
Good jobs.
That's what I got.
Thanks. There being no further business, the Denali Borough School Board meeting is adjourned at 8:06.
Record to talk.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
I have a question.